Mr. 1000 Reps.
I am Mr. 1000 Reps. Well, peace and blessings. Mr. 1000 Reps here. I wanted to take a brief moment and talk to you about ROM, range of motion. Range of motion varies by your height, your arm length, as well as by your genetics. And why do your genetics play a part in your range of motion is because your ligaments have a lot to do with how far you can extend or how much a body part stays retracted. But today we're going to concentrate on two specific topics. The first one is going to be the use of bars, straight bars, versus that of a dumbbell. And then the second topic is just going to be about posturing, how you posture yourself when you're going to do a specific exercise. So behind me, we have what's called the Smith machine. The Smith machine has a fixed 7-foot bar. Why is it fixed? So basically it forces you to do specific exercises, and that way also not only is your body forced to stay in one way, but also it has emergency catches. So these little bars here, in the event that you get into an emergency situation where you're lifting by yourself, you can use that catch, as well as it has these lower portions here that you can raise and lower, which are also emergency catches in case you can't twist the bar back into one of these little bars. Second one, you have this 7-foot Olympic bar down here. Now, many of these bars come with a standard width where, for a generic hand, you'll be able to wrap your hand all the way around. But they also have some thicker bars that are used to give you more grip strength. In front of this 7-foot bar, we have a 4-foot bar. Has the same ball bearing assembly as the Olympic bar, a shorter bar at the end, so the capacity is less than the Olympic bar. You can still use 2-inch plates, but you'll notice also where your hand position is much more narrower than you can get in an Olympic bar. Third on the floor, you have a dumbbell. Most of you have seen dumbbells. So dumbbells come with metal handles knurled, which means they have these little indentations or cutouts. They have them cast, they have them rubber, they have them plates where you can screw the ends. So the point that I want to make of a dumbbell is this portion right here. The length of your handle and the thickness of the handle is usually the same, with the exception of very few ones like you get with the Olympic bar, where they're made thicker so that you can get more grip strength, more forearm strength. A couple of other things I want to talk about with the bars is that you'll notice on the 7-foot bar, they have like these little cutouts. These little cutouts are standard positions for different variations of a press or a pull. Now, a press would be like a bench press, a sitting shoulder press. A pull would be like a bent over row, a deadlift, and then you have a variation of like a clean and jerk where you do a pull and then go straight up. So depending on the exercise that you're doing, most Olympic length bars, 7-foot bars, will have these little cutouts. There are some variations that are slightly a little bit longer so you can get more weight on it, or they'll have different indentations. That's based on manufacturers. But what you see here is going to be your standard bar. Now, related to the range of motion, there's a couple of things. The first thing we talked about was arm length. For example, my 12-year-old son is about 5'5" and has a longer reach than I do. My reach right now is about 67 inches. His reach is almost 69 inches. Then I have my 15-year-old son who's about 6'2" and has a 72-inch reach. So really the height of the person doesn't necessarily mean that that reach of that person will be equal. Once again, it's based on genetics. So you'll see some really tall people have short torsos, and then some really short people have longer torsos. The point of that is that when you grab a bar, in order for you to get the range of motion, you want to get the bar in a position where from where your shoulders are, you just come about a thumb. So what I normally do is I'll put a thumb on the bar and then I'll open it up, and that's your standard range of motion. Now this may vary depending on the person, so I'll show you. This one has these knurlings right here. So if you just put your web of your finger, that's where your thumb is, right? And you just put your thumb and come out, notice the position of my hands. So if a person is taller and their arms are longer, their shoulders are going to be wider. So if my shoulders were 2 inches wider, my thumbs might start here. And then when I open up, look at how much further my hand is. So notice this hand is here. I'm going to do the same thing with this hand and come out and look at the difference. My pinky's pretty much on that ring. Here, I have about a finger's difference. So the point that I'm trying to make to you is, no matter what bar you're using, use the width of your shoulders as your standard arm and then come out a thumb. Now that's going to be your standard position when you're doing like exercises where you're keeping your elbows in. As you come down, your elbows are in, your chest will stretch out, you use more of your tricep. When you're really far out and you keep your elbows in, now you're engaging your bicep. Your chest is not as stretched, but it is under flex, and now you're using more of your lats. So you'll feel that more when you're doing a pull-up than you will when you're doing a press. But the point is that your chest is flatter, so you get more of that full chest workout versus your chest being tight, where you're getting that tight chest workout. So the point being that no matter what bar you use, remember that with a 7-foot bar, you'll be able to get a wider grip. With a 4-foot bar, you'll get a tighter grip. 4-foot bars are really good for curls. Most curl positions, now that we've talked about a laid down position, right? I'm going to take a stand and I'm going to show you about curling. Most people, when they curl, they keep their body straight, shoulders back. Look at my arm position from doing that naturally. I have to force my arms to come down, which is an unnatural position. If I release my arms and let them relax, this is where I'm at with no tension. This may vary by person, once again, based on your genetics. Some people who are double jointed might be able to pull their elbows or their hands behind their elbows. But for just a basic person like myself, at this position, this is a standard position. So if I'm grabbing a bar from my standard position and I'm coming down, this is now putting stress on my joints. So my suggestion to you is that in order to relieve the tension and still get that good workout, bend the knees and slightly lean forward. You notice now I'm in a relaxed position. Here I'm under tension. Here I'm in a relaxed position. So when I'm curling, notice how I can come all the way down, flex my bi, and curl. Versus here, and now I'm putting stress on my back, stress on my shoulders, stress on my neck. And then when I come down, stress on my elbows, stress on my wrist. So a really good way is just to loosen the knees, lean slightly forward. Now you have no tension and you can concentrate on that muscle. The same thing applies with a dumbbell. If I'm going to do a curl, this is my natural position. So unless I'm stopping here, right? If I go further, which can happen if I'm tired or weary from doing the workout, now I start trying to swing, going past my tension, bend the knee, slightly lean forward, bring the elbow back, and curl. I'll show that to you from the side. Here straight, slightly lean forward with the elbow back. You notice my elbow and my shoulders in line with my hips. Anytime that you're in line with your hips, you're putting no stress on your back. All right? Last thing I want to talk about is going to be posture. If you did not know this, a rule of thumb is that from when you stand straight, shoulders back, chest out, and this is for both men or women, this is proper posture. Your back is slightly arched. So if you're leaning forward, you're putting stress in the middle of your back, which is going to give you shoulder tension, trap tension, as well as give you some tightness in the mid-back. So if you bend down to grab something and that mid-back is tight, you can pull your back. Or, as us Dominicans say, you'll catch an air pocket and you'll feel like you're just stuck. So it's important to know proper posture is to keep your chin up, shoulders back, chest out, and leave your back in its natural curved position. For every inch that your neck or chin comes down from that position, you're putting approximately 10 pounds of weight on your neck and on your throat and on your back. So if you're walking around like this all day looking down at your phone or looking down, or you don't have that proper posture, so now I'm walking around like this, you're putting an unseen amount of pressure on your shoulders, your trap, your neck. So when you come down to the bench, or you go to do a weight, or you go to do dips, whatever you do, and you haven't loosened up all those muscles, which are not gonna loosen up in 5 minutes of stretching, you could severely hurt yourself. So please be mindful that proper posture is the most necessary thing that you need to do to prepare yourself for a workout. If you have any questions, go ahead and email Mr1000reps@gmail.com or just leave a comment below. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for our next short video. Peace.
Mr. 1000 Reps.